I'm creating this not because I want people to feel sorry for me, but it's all the work I've put into creating awareness about pathological abuse. Those who will think that they're immune to abuse, the ignorance is just baffling. So many people turn a blind eye to what goes on behind closed doors. And most people who say they don't understand why survivors stayed so long or how they even got abused in the first place, it's one of the most ignorant comments that I keep on hearing, because when you don't understand abuse and you don't understand that it can happen to you, it makes you an easy target. It's not like learning a few red flags is going to save you, because pathological abuse isn't just about an incident or a red flag. It's not about even actions. It's not about words. It's not about the behavior. It's about the patterns all combined together. So to see one red flag isn't going to save you. A red flag is something that can happen in very overt cases of abuse, but with pathological abuse, it usually doesn't unfold before over time when you're too far stuck in it. And I see that people can have an opinion if it affects them. If it's something to do with societal abuse or politics, they'll have an opinion because it affects them as a group, as part of a group. But when it comes to what goes on behind closed doors, if it doesn't affect them, they turn a blind eye. They don't care. There's victim shaming. There's victim blaming. Abusers are really held accountable. It's hard to see those who are falsely accused, of course, but in most cases, it's really up to a survivor to prove that the abuser has done something tangible they can show. And in most cases, when it's pathological abuse, it's not like you go and collect documents or have tangible evidence you can show over time. The evidence is the survivor, the trauma they endure, the post-traumatic stress, and often the physical health issues that follow often can track back to abuse. And it should be not just innocent until proven guilty. It should be a victim until proven otherwise. So it should be two-sided. That I think there should be more focus on if somebody claims they're a victim, that there should be more knowledge within the legal system. Way too few people working with the legal aspect of police reports have knowledge of the psychology behind trauma. They don't know what abuse actually is, because they often tend to say that abuse looks like this, and then they say if you don't fit in that box, you're not abused. With pathological abuse, with narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, people that have Machiavellian traits, they can con the person they're living with. They can con the legal system. So there needs to be a better system to help survivors and to understand it better. We also need more awareness what actually this type of abuse is. It isn't just emotional abuse. It isn't just mental abuse. It isn't just psychological abuse. It can be also physical abuse, but pathological abuse is something that is so sinister and malignant that it's hard to explain when you're in it, and it's hard to explain once you've escaped it. You sort of have to let time go by to unravel what has happened and to see the patterns over time, because when you're in such a relationship, the abuse is so overwhelming. It's so flooded with so many different incidents that your brain just can't keep up. There's so many moments that it's not just one thing, it's happening all around you, right? There's a lot of knowledge about love bombing. There's a lot of knowledge about gaslighting. But when you have so many different things happening, where word salad to future faking to your best friend being your worst enemy, and things are going on slowly, and then also might go fast, and then they might go slow again. The thing is that dissociation in your brain with cognitive dissonance, where it's hard to believe somebody can be that sinister. You never really get time to think it. You never really get time to feel it, because as soon as you start thinking or feeling something, they shift again. And it's easy once you step back and look at the patterns. But in order to create awareness, people have to be willing to learn, to listen, to understand, and to admit maybe they were wrong about what abuse actually looks like. So it's one thing about holding people accountable, but we need to actively share more awareness to a younger generation what actually a narcissist is. A narcissist isn't just anybody that's grandiose and like the typical covert grandiose narcissism that mainstream media makes it up to be. Narcissism isn't just somebody who is selfish, who somebody who is just full of themselves. It's not like you can spot a narcissist just because you know some of the traits. A malignant narcissist, for example, you won't be able to spot it that easy, or him or her that easy. And a sociopath or psychopath, they will have narcissistic traits, but it's not the other way around. So somebody who has narcissistic traits and as a psychopath, you might see some of those traits of the narcissism occasionally. But you won't see the psychopath. You won't see the cold, calculated, sinister, intentional abuser behind the narcissist. Same thing with somebody who is Machiavellian, who has Machiavellian traits. They're always playing for the long game, so even though they slip up with a few red flags, they pull themselves back again, and you won't even notice they're abusing you before it's too late. So it's being constantly scammed, constantly manipulated by somebody who intentionally weaponizes anything they can, and there are smoke and mirrors all the time. People who are abused are not naive. They're not dumb for not seeing what's going on. The thing is, as soon as they maybe see something or feel something or sense something, it's too late because their brain is already hijacked. There's science to back up what happens to the brain. It's being in a constant fight and flight mode. It's also having the other survival states where maybe your body is not just in fight and flight, but you're also freezing, fawning, and even flop. And if you haven't heard about those survival responses, that just shows you need to understand more what goes on in order to survive in an abusive relationship. I've come to the point now where I am going to continue to create awareness, but I won't be having more podcasts because it's just too challenging for me to speak as much. So there'll be lesser of them, and my channel will be more just music. I will be trying to, like I said, trying to sing. Not sure if too many people will listen, but for those of you who do, thank you. The point I'm doing this is to refuse to be literally silenced after nearly 70 vocal surgeries and having my voice shattered. It's my way of speaking up. And even though not too many people care that I have something to say, some people say that I'm victimizing myself. Some people say that they feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm not victimizing myself. I'm trying to create awareness, and I'm pissed as hell. But I'm just sad that too many people do not care until it affects them. And that's what's sad. That unless it affects them, they don't care. Now, it's just like the way I see it is, I can say if somebody knows what cancer is, it doesn't help them from not getting cancer. They can still get cancer. So even if you know what abuse is, you can still be abused again. These people are so devious that you won't know it before you're in it. But if you've experienced it through life experience before, you will notice and spot the red flags easier. And also, those who have been through it might be more cautious not to let people so close to them, so it's harder. So those who haven't experienced it, to say that I know what cancer looks like, I can't get cancer, that's a stupid thing to say. It's the same thing with abuse. You might know what it looks like once you see a survivor or if you see something that's very obvious, but it would make you an easy target. And I don't wish anything bad to people, but sometimes I do actually think, well, when people say they would never fall for the red flags, or they would never be abused, or they wouldn't put up with it, I said the same thing. Sometimes I'm like, I almost wish that they would walk in my shoes just for a day, a week, a month, and then we'll have that conversation again. So until next time, I hope that just because you don't understand something, or you don't agree, or don't know what it is, it doesn't mean it's not happening. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. On the contrary, it does. Abuse happens behind closed doors in many different shapes and forms. It's not just the physical, typical, common domestic abuse. Pathological abuse is a global pandemic. We see people behind closed doors and from behind a podium that abuse people. And until you understand how the patterns evolve, it's still going to continue. And that's what's sad. Very sad.